Going to move on to the business news. Stephen Carroll is sitting next to me here on set. We're going to start in the US. It appears there are still some hopes for new stimulus for the economy, Stephen.
That's right. Leading Democrat Nancy Pelosi and the US Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin discussed on Wednesday a potential rescue package for the airline industry. Tens of thousands of airline workers were temporarily laid off last week after a previous government aid package had expired. Now, President Trump had called off talks over a wider stimulus plan on Tuesday, but subsequently said that he'd be open to approving certain measures, and they include help for the aviation sector. Democrats and Republicans have been unable to agree on much needed aid for the US economy after months of negotiations. Well, let's see how the markets digested all of that news. Wall Street has gotten a boost on hopes that all was not lost in those stimulus talks. European markets today carrying on with that theme. Gains at the open across London, Paris and Frankfurt. Travel and leisure shares leading the gains, interestingly enough. In Asia today, markets also getting that boost from Wall Street. Tokyo and the Kospi and Seoul both trading up, although the Hang Seng in Hong Kong slipping into the red on fears that Washington might impose restrictions on the Chinese tech giant Tencent.
Now, the low-cost airline EasyJet has been really counting the cost of the pandemic to its business. Some incredible figures here.
That's right, yeah. EasyJet warning that it's expecting losses of around 930 million euros for the year to the end of September. It'll be the first time in the company's history that it's posted an annual loss. The pandemic has meant that EasyJet is only flying a quarter of its planned capacity for the rest of the year after, of course, flights being grounded for several months earlier on in the year. Media reports in the UK saying the airline has told the British government it may need more financial support.
Now, here in France, people are counting the cost of damage. This is caused by Storm Alex in the southeast of the country.
The French government has announced a first €100 million aid package as a first response to that flooding, which washed away roads and bridges and left some villages in the Alpes-Maritime region cut off. Local businesses are facing ruin in some cases after suffering damage, as Georgina Robertson now reports.
Houses half demolished, roads washed away, shops and businesses left devastated by Storm Alex. People are taking stock, and those like this restaurant manager are still reeling. He believes that repairs will cost around €500,000.
C'est des entreprises qu'on bichonne pendant des années. Donc c'est des travaux incessants, comme une maison, comme une bâtisse. Bon là, il y a tout à refaire, donc je sais pas, je suis pas entrepreneur, donc ça a coûté beaucoup d'argent.
In the Alpes-Maritime region, more than 1,600 buildings have been damaged. The cost of reconstruction is estimated at €130 million. But roads and bridges also need to be rebuilt.
Il faut sécuriser ces ponts parce qu'on n'a plus moyen d'accéder de l'autre côté. Et ça, c'est plus ennuyeux, quoi.
Votre commune, elle aurait les moyens d'assumer toute seule cette charge financière?
Jamais de la vie, non. La commune, elle tourne avec des frais de fonctionnement qui sont quand même pas très importants, on peut pas.
In these badly hit valleys, there is a minimum of 35 kilometres of road to be rebuilt, as well as a dozen bridges and other works of art. The cost is estimated at up to €435 million. Water pipes have also been completely destroyed in some places, and another €45 million will be needed to re-establish drinking water and drains. These works will take years to complete. The government has declared Storm Alex a natural disaster, which will facilitate insurance claims, while the state has created an initial fund of €100 million to help the region rebuild.
And finally from Stephen, lots of worry over cinema. An American film director has warned that going to the cinema could become extinct because of coronavirus.
This is after Cineworld announced that it was closing its cinemas in Britain and the United States. Patty Jenkins is the director of the new Wonder Woman film. Its release has been delayed 3 times because of the pandemic. Now, she believes the whole tradition of seeing films in a movie theatre is under threat.
When you take movie theaters that were already having a hard time staying afloat, right? And you take movie studios that can potentially lose, their entire income for the year if a movie doesn't do well. Movie theaters are going to stop making movies for movie theaters if we have less of them. That's what's going to happen. If they cannot make their money back on movies, they will stop making movies for the theater and they will invest completely in streaming. And theaters will shutter and it will be gone and you won't be able to get it back.
In the United States, one industry group says that more than 2/3 of small and mid-sized cinemas could be forced to file for bankruptcy because of this crisis. huge challenge and very sad if it
is
the end of a tradition that we all
Goodness
enjoyed.
me. I love going to the cinema. Really, really hope that doesn't happen, obviously. Thanks very much, Stephen. Stephen with Business on France 24. We're going to go back to the start of the bulletin.